Okay, good morning and glad to have you join us on News Fight live broadcast of news. Every morning we compile news making rounds all over Nigeria and we bring them to you, we serve them to you so that you can be informed. So it's always our pleasure to be here to bring you this service on your device, on your tab, on your phones, on your computer, on your laptop, wherever you are. You don't have to be stuck to your TV set. All you have to do is just on Facebook, search News Bites, and then you are here at this time for news. Good morning, my name is Oluwa Mayomikun. Today is Monday the 25th of September 2017. Sure you have or you had a great weekend. For those who are still having extended weekend, well, time to get up. I'm sure most of us are already at work today. All right, so I just will take a few moments to share this on my timeline, and I also implore us to do the same so that our contacts, our friends on Facebook can also take advantage of this service free of charge. Yes, it's free for you. Okay, so let me quickly do that and then we can bring you the robust news that we have for today. It's a very lovely one. Okay, so just a moment to share this on our timeline, on my timeline, my own timeline. Yes. Okay, come on. The page is loading. All right. Okay. It's loading. As soon as it loads, I would okay. All right, I'm there. All right. Okay. Let me share my timeline. I'm sharing on my timeline in case you're just joining us, so feel free. Okay. All right. Okay. Come on. Okay, it's loading. Okay, the share button is coming on. All right. Okay, let me share. Just a few minutes or even within the next 60 seconds, I'll share it and then we'll bring to you the news headlines from the north, the south, the east, and the west, from all over. We're bringing you this news. Okay, so hold on. All right. All right. Okay. Bam. All right. I just shared on my timeline and I think we're good to go. All right. Okay, shared. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Oluwa Mayomikun and welcome to News Bites. So let's do the news. Let's go round town. I think we have like 20 stories for you. Interesting stories. The top topical stories. Okay. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar has said that the Nigerian Air Force is expecting new fighter aircraft from no fewer than 4 countries to boost its capacities. Its capabilities. He lists the countries as Russia, the United States of America, Pakistan, and the United Arab Emirates. Abubakar, identifying NAV's challenges as insufficient aircraft and low aircraft serviceability, said his men are working towards more professionalism to meet security imperatives. The Air Force Chief stated this on Saturday at a lecture delivered to the Senior Course 40 at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, in Kaduna State. As the National Assembly resumes tomorrow, indications have emerged of an imminent showdown in the Senate. Highly placed sources in the upper chamber hints that a number of senators are still unhappy with the Senate President Bukola Saraki over his recent remarks on the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Saraki had last Monday issued a statement describing as unconstitutional the proscription and declaration of IPOB as a terrorist group. It was gathered that Saraki's statement angered many northern senators who received endless calls from their constituents as to whether he had their mandate to say what he said. The Senate president is already making frantic efforts to calm aggrieved lawmakers following the controversy that his comments have generated. It was gathered that at the height of the debate ahead of the proscription of IPOB, Saraki had a serious misunderstanding with the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. Aware of the plot, Saraki last week embarked on marathon meetings with caucuses of the Senate with a view to reassure his colleagues and assuage their fears. He separately met with senators from the Southeast, Southwest, South, and then the northern caucuses of the Senate, where we gathered that the issue was discussed. At the meeting with the northern senators, Saraki was said to have assured them he is not against President Muhammadu Buhari and that he issued the statement to simply douse tension in the country. At the one he held with the Southeast senators, Saraki asked them to use their caucus to preach for the unity and progress of the country, specifically and break up the Cold War between Osun State government, and his Ondo State counterpart Rotimi Akeredolu attack on the Osun State Commissioner for Regional Integration, Ilori, who internet, don't mess up. Okay. All right. Did I switch it off? I didn't switch it off now. Come on. Okay, I had to stand up to ensure that the internet is performing well, or else there will be no use, bringing you news and then you can't hear it. All right, let's go on. The Cold War between Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola and his Ondo State counterpart Rotimi Akeredolu may soon escalate following the attack on the Osun State Commissioner for Regional Integration, Bola Ilori, in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Ilori, who is an indigene of Ondo town and is serving commissioner in Osun State, was attacked by some hoodlums in Akure on Thursday during an All Progressive Congress meeting on restructuring. Reacting to the attack on Ilori, Aregbesola, in a statement issued by his media aide Shola Fasure, described the alleged attack as barbaric, saying it was an indirect attack on the people of Osun State, who Ilori represented at the forum. The governor's aide claimed that Ilori was exposed to danger by some top government officials who have some issues with him, saying they failed to protect him and other delegates from Osun State. Aregbesola's aide also described as undiplomatic the statement credited to the Ondo State Commissioner for Information, Yemi Olowolabi, who accused the Osun delegates of being aggressors who came to the venue with the aim of disrupting the meeting. It might interest you to know that Ilori was the Director General of the campaign organization for Olushola Oke, who defected from the APC to become the candidate of the Alliance for Democracy during the governorship election, which Akeredolu eventually won. Prince Adedayo Adeyeye movement has protested the adoption of Ekiti State Deputy Governor Professor Olushola Eleka as candidate of the party ahead of the 2018 governorship poll in the state. Adeyeye is PDP National Publicity Secretary. More than 180 PDP members from across 16 council areas in Ekiti signed a petition calling for the state executive to be dissolved. In a protest letter submitted to the office of PDP chief, Senator Ahmed McAfee, the group said Eleka's adoption by Governor Ayodele Fayose is an act of impunity. The petitioners also asked the party's national leadership not to recognize Eleka, or there will be a crisis in the state chapter of the party. Some of those who signed the petition are Honorable Dele Olugbemi, who is a former Speaker of Ekiti House of Assembly, Barrister Afolabi Ojuawo, former Secretary to the State Government, Chief Mosu Aguda, former Senatorial District Chairman, Barrister Longe Sule, former House of Assembly Majority Leader, Honorable Shegun Ola, former member, Ekiti State House of Assembly, Also, our Chief Femi Balogun, former chairman, Teaching Service Commission and our Fenifere leader. Then Honorable Sholaoke, a former member, Ekiti State House of Assembly. Honorable Deji Adesu, a former commissioner, and also Prince Ade Alonge, with party leader and an Fenifere chieftain. Former Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Professor Tauhid Adejoja, says the December elective national convention of the PDP will be a massive test for the party's democratic credentials. According to Adejoja, the convention will give members the opportunity to see whether or not the party will continue to act with impunity and impose candidates on members. The former minister said this in Abuja on Sunday while speaking with newsmen about his desire to occupy the position of national chairman of the party. Adedoja said that the PDP would have ruled beyond 16 years, but its administration was truncated majorly because of impunity, imposition of candidates, and processes by which some of its candidates emerged. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose says he is not a promoter of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. The governor said this in a series of tweets on Sunday. I quote, Fayose's force be the last option of the use of force. Having said that, I'm not promoting IPOB, but Buhari should lead Nigeria with equity and justice. Off quote. Fayose said Nigeria must be restructured in order to promote fairness and equity, adding that the government must address agitations through dialogue and not military might. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has said the people believe in Nigeria's unity and are not part of secession agenda. Wike made this remark at Nigeria's 57th Independence Church service, which held at St. Mark's Court. The governor, however, advised the federal government to ensure good governance to end the increasing agitation for self-determination among ethnic groups in Nigeria. He called for justice and equity for all citizens and advised Nigerians to always speak out against injustice. We can note that part of the reasons why politicians behaved irrationally is based on the fact that they know results could be manipulated for them. The Independence Church Service attracted top government functionaries, security agencies, and traditional rulers. 12 communities in Boki local government area of Cross River State have been flooded following 2 days of heavy rain, while more than 3,000 farmlands have also been destroyed. The incident, which occurred between the late hours of September 18 and the early hours of September 19, has rendered hundreds of residents homeless as properties worth millions of naira were destroyed. John Inaku, the Director General Cross River State Emergency Management Agency, said on Sunday during an inspection of the affected areas that the economic survival of residents of the submerged communities have been seriously affected. Inaku hints that more than 1,000 people have been displaced and are taking refuge in nearby communities. According to him, the state government has promised to address the plight of the people. Some of the communities affected are Bago, Unu, Bagabo, Baki, Bufua, and Kakwe Bibo. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami said the trial of 1,670 Boko Haram suspects in detention will begin on Monday, October 9. In a statement by his spokesman, Uthman Issa, yesterday, the minister identifies the 1,670 terrorism suspects being held at the Kenji detention facility in Niger State as the first beneficiaries of a process to speed up trials. He announced the approval of a list of prosecutors to handle the cases with a list of defense counsels from the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria, an agency under the Ministry of Justice. He also disclosed that the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court has appointed 4 judges to oversee the cases. He stated that the special prosecutors will attend to the cases of the 651 detainees in Giwa Barracks, Maiduguri, until the cases are exhausted. Of the 33 cases under the Federal High Court, he said 13 have been concluded with 9 convictions, while 116 charges are still awaiting trial in Kainji, Niger State. He said 220 detainees in the facility were in the category that have been recommended for release and de-radicalization program due to want of evidence. He also explained that the second category are those who will be willing to plead guilty for lesser sentences, while the third category are those initially recommended for further investigation but have no files so far concerning their cases. The fourth category is for suspects whose cases were reviewed and a prima facie was found and may be willing to opt for a full trial. The AGF also states that the exercise will be carried out alongside the Office of the National Security Advisor and the Joint Investigation Team set up by the Defense Headquarters. Bama Initiative for Human Development, an NGO, on Sunday in Maiduguri staged a peaceful demonstration demanding the return of internally displaced persons to their respective communities in Bama. The group's chairman, Muhammad Hassan, said the IDPs want to return and continue their normal activities in view of the prevailing peace in the state. Hassan notes that about 70% of the reconstruction and rehabilitation projects have been completed in the area, saying that they are tired of living as displaced persons. He said that most of them are traumatized, coupled with serious neglect and poor living conditions, adding that they are ready to trek back to Bama if they must. The police, however, stopped the demonstrators from embarking on the trek and urged them to drop the idea because of safety. Damian Chukwu, the police commissioner of the state, said that the group has not notified the command over their planned return to Bama. He advised the IDPs to dialogue with the state government and other stakeholders over their demands so that adequate preparations will be made. In his reaction, Governor Kashim Shettima urged the IDPs to cooperate with government to fast-track the completion of rehabilitation projects in the town. Malam Issa Gusau, the special advisor to the governor on communication and media strategy, made this known in a statement issued in Maiduguri. Gusau explained that government has constructed 20,000 housing units in Bama and provided modern health facilities, schools, and police stations in the area. He adds that the federal government is currently training a special anti-terrorism squad and civilian joint task force to be deployed to the town under the Bama initiative. The spokesman added that the special squad and the agro rangers specifically trained to secure farmers in their farmlands will replace the military. You may recall that thousands of persons were forced to flee their homes when the Boko Haram insurgents sacked Bama town in 2014. Hundreds of people were killed, maimed, or abducted while the entire structures in the town was razed by the insurgents. Also, Governor Kashim Shettima Obono and redeployment of 41 permanent secretaries in the state. Yerima Saleh, the head of service, made the announcement in a statement issued in Maiduguri. Saleh explained that 27 permanent secretaries were redeployed while 14 others got new posting. The governor also approved the appointment of Satomi Ahmad as executive chairman, Borno State Roads Management Agency. Until his appointment, Ahmad was the chairman of the State Emergency Management Agency. Saleh notes that the appointment is with immediate effect. Federal government has begun emergency and remedial repair of some major roads and bridges in Lagos State, the Federal Controller of Works Lagos, Godwin Eke, said on Sunday. Eke told journalists in Lagos that some of the bad roads required urgent attention and the federal government is determined to make all federal roads across the country mortuable. He says that repair work on some of the roads have been completed while others are still ongoing, while remedial work on both carriageways of Akpogbon Bridge undulations have been completed. Permit me. He identified the ongoing emergency repair project as repairs on Ijora Causeway, Ijora Flyover, Funshaw Williams Avenue, replacement of one expansion joint on Eko Bridge, Costain Roundabout to Eko Bridge Ramp, and Costain to Igomu Bridge. That's the one that is Orile bound. Some others are Funshaw Williams Bridge to Alaka, Kata Bridge Roundabout to Loma Junction, Habad Macaulay Way, and Outer Marina to Amadu Bello Way. That's from Akpogbon Bridge to Bonny Camp. Also listed, of course, for repairs are Falomo Roundabout through Queensway Road to Osborne Road, Apapa Road to Western Avenue, that's between Igomu Bridge Ramp and Western Avenue Bridge Ramp. Also is Apapa Road towards Igomu Bridge, which is receiving attention as we speak. Eke said the Ijora Olokpa to Ijora 7 Up, that's beside Oloye Nursery and Primary School, Alaka to Akpobo through Eko Bridge, and Oni Conjunction through Independent Bridge to Akpobo Bridge are also undergoing repairs. According to him, so many other ones would be worked on. He said that government is working assiduously to conclude plans for other roads not yet captured, appealing to residents to be patient with the government. Earlier, the controller has said that the bids for the repair of Apapa Oshodi Tinkan Island Road is passing through the procurement process, and that government is planning to construct a network of roads on the Apapa Tinkan Island Oshodi Road corridor to reduce congestion to the barest minimum. Meanwhile, Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, has said she's not happy with the progress of construction work on the Wharf Road, Apapa. Usman, who undertook an emergency tour of the road yesterday, charged the contractors to deploy enough manpower and equipment to site so that the job can be delivered in due time. The tour was also in consonance with the sustenance of the implementation of the federal government's executive order concerning the ease of doing business at the nation's seaports. Addressing newsmen during the tour, the NPA boss observed that the federal government is interested in ensuring that the gateway to the nation's economy, the port, is effectively and efficiently serviced in order to tap into the financial dividends accruable to the national economy. She stated that the inspection is part of the NPA's aggressive continuous monitoring strategy at ensuring that all the components required to meet deadlines are achieved. Minister of Niger Delta Affairs Uguru Usani has expressed doubt over the completion of the East-West Road by 2019, saying a huge debt of 30 billion naira has already been incurred on the project. The minister said this on Saturday while fielding questions from journalists after the All Progressives Congress stakeholders meeting in Calabar, Cross River State. Usani said that even if the federal government released 50 billion naira for the road project, it will not be completed in record time due to outstanding certificates in excess of 30 billion naira. The minister laments that the 2017 budget allocation for the ministry has not been received, adding that efforts are to secure non-budgetary funds for the project. He states that the ministry is attending to road projects based on the availability of funds, adding that the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration has a responsibility to reposition national infrastructure and not just the East-West Road. The management of the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company has said that the power outage in some parts of Oshogbo, the state capital, the Osho state capital, is for safety reasons, appealing to residents to be patient while assuring them that the issues will soon be resolved. Regional Communication Officer of the company, Kike Lomo, points out that the power outage is due to critical safety to wires and that such could cause electrocution of and kill efforts to resolve. She explained that IBEDC is making efforts to resolve the problems with electricity supply to Iludu, Kasmo, Fiwashaye, Kolawole, Owode, Igbona, Surulere, Okeayo, Sabo, Atelewo, Plantation, Arikalamu, Akitokun, Ifesowapo, Ifeolu, Asoje, Mosadowa, Ishokon, and Kelebe communities in Oshogbo. IBEDC appealed to those affected to bear with it and accept the palliative measures proposed for rationing power supply during the period of the repairs. The company also cautioned those threatening violence to know that such cannot remedy the situation but exacerbate it by slowing down the process of the repairs. Chiemeka Biafra, oh, thank you so much. Good morning to you too. The news is breaking. I hope it's stable now. I'm sure that would be due to the data or the network or the Wi-Fi, but I believe it's stable now. All right, let's go ahead. We have about 4 more stories for you. Fear-gripped passengers of Abuja-Kaduna train. Fear-gripped passengers on Abuja-Kaduna train at the weekend when it experienced system failure near Jere, a community that has witnessed series of kidnapping recently. The Friday morning train, which took off from Idu in Abuja around 7:03 a.m., had system failure twice. The first was before the train took off in Idu, while the second was at Jere in Kaduna State. The system failure in the rail lasted 20 minutes, raising tension among passengers. It happened around 8:02 a.m. and it was rectified by 8:22. This is the second time the train is breaking down in less than 2 weeks. Announcement was made by an official of the Nigeria Railway Service that the system failure will be rectified in 2 minutes. It, however, took 20 minutes to be fixed. As soon as the announcement was made, passengers panicked. And of course, you can't blame them for panicking. This is the reason. Well, anyway, passenger says that, this particular sport, Jere, has been notorious in recent times for kidnappings and all that. So imagine your train breaks down in the middle of where kidnappers operate. So you can't blame the passengers. Anyway, as that was happening, policemen in the train alighted from it and mounted a sort of security around the train. So no passengers, they panicked, but at least they were all safe and got to destination in one piece. Passenger urged the NRC authorities to guard against a repeat of the system failure and advocate the deployment of more security personnel. At least 10 people were reportedly injured at the weekend following a protest by about 2,000 traders of Emodi Shoe Dealers Association or Chanja Central Market in Onitsha, Anambra State. The protesters, who marched around major roads and lines in the market, raised alarm over plan by the outgoing executive led by Nwabueze Ume and his cohorts to impose leaders on them and illegally extend their tenure ahead of the election billed for Wednesday this week. In a 3-page petition signed by the council to the protesters, B.I. Akujo, and sent to the Commission of Trade and Commerce, Amaka Ilobi, the protesters listed their grievances against the outgoing executive to also include appointment of patrons and advisors who unconstitutionally convened a kangaroo meeting where they resolved that the expired tenure of the outgoing executive will be extended by 1 year. They accused the chairman of unilaterally appointing an electoral committee without the consent of the traders and also illegally appointing a screening committee, which, according to the protesters, is aimed at disqualifying their popular chairmanship candidate Leonard Ume and his vice Emeka Ede, who was one of those who sustained injuries. Ede told newsmen while narrating his ordeal that he was suddenly beaten up by thugs the day he came for the screening exercise. When contacted in his Akapa residence near Onitsha, the embattled association's chairman, Ume, denied the allegations, insisting that the constitution is there for everyone to see. Meanwhile, joint health sector unions, which went on strike last week, says at least 2 of its members came under attack at Irua Specialist Hospital in Edo State. In a statement on Sunday, Johesu said Fidelis Ogobo, who chairs its union branch at the hospital, was leading a team to monitor compliance to the strike when he was manhandled by Dr. Wilson Uveria, who chairs the hospital's medical advisory committee. Johesu chairman Biobelemoye Josiah said Uveria stooped so low to have slapped Ogobo and destroyed a mobile phone belonging to another member, Tune. The assaulted men are said to have notified the police. Johesu has called on Health Minister Professor Isaac Adewale to warn doctors not to provoke its members. The union accuses Uveria of continuing to threaten to attack their union leaders and to sack workers. It said when the resident doctors were on strike, none of its members had any cause to have any provocative encounter nor interfere with the doctors. It insists no amount of provocation will intimidate members from continuing their fight against discrimination, corruption, underfunding until their demands are met. The strike has left only doctors who suspended their strike recently in federal hospitals without nurses, pharmacists, lab technicians, and a full complement of health workers. So I can imagine doctors are the only one doing everything that other health workers are doing just because the health workers are on strike. But then that does not give them the right to harass those that are striking and demanding for their rights. After all, they too went on strike some weeks back, to demand their rights from the federal government. Catfish and Allied Fish Farmers Association of Nigeria has urged the federal government to review the incentives given to fish importers so as to make local production profitable. The association's national president, Rotimi Oloye, made this known on Sunday in Ibadan. According to him, local fish production should be revamped by supporting import substitution and denying fish importers import permits and foreign exchange. He said the importers should be encouraged to set up fish farms for profit and job creation rather than importing from abroad. Oloye notes that the local fish farmers cannot compete favorably with importers who are achieving bulk sales in addition to the incentives from government. Nigeria has recorded a significant rise in its non-oil export, with agricultural goods increasing the country's foreign exchange earnings. National Bureau of Statistics recently reports that Nigeria recorded an export rise of 73.5% in the second quarter of this year compared to the same quarter last year. Experts have attributed the rise to the diversification efforts of the federal government, with particular emphasis on non-oil exports. Speaking on the development, Executive Director CEO of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council (NEPC), Oluwa said he is pleased with the positive trade balance recorded in the second quarter of this year, which is a result of increase in exports. Oluwa said cashew nuts alone earned Nigeria 13.5 billion naira, primarily exported to Vietnam, India, and Kazakhstan, while sesame earned the country 7.02 billion naira, exported mainly to Japan, India, and Turkey. Frozen shrimps and prawns earned over 2.83 billion naira, exported mainly to Netherlands, Belgium, and USA, while flour and meals of soya bean earned 2.31 billion naira, exported mainly to Spain, Ghana, and Senegal. Also, ginger earned the country 6.3 million naira, while manufactured goods such as cigarettes containing tobacco exported to the surplus trade balance. Outing was cement exported to Niger and to several. Last story now. The Economic and Financial its investigative team have not been able to meet. The network is misbehaving. Okay, let me take that last story because I can see there was fluctuation just now. So let me take the last story now. I think it's stable. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission says it has not been allowed to meet with the immediate past Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diezani Alison Madueke, in the United Kingdom, where she has been staying since 2015 when investigation into her tenure began. The commission stated this in a counter affidavit filed before the Federal High Court, Abuja, that it has not been investigating the ex-minister for various allegations of corrupt practices, including abuse of office, money laundering, stealing of public funds, and illegal acquisition of properties within and outside Nigeria. EFCC states EFCC said that its efforts to interrogate her over the allegations have been aborted by her lawyer, John Beans of BCL Solicitors. The lawyer has refused to allow the Commission's team of investigators, led by Abdulrasheed Bauer, to meet with her in the UK earlier in March this year. EFCC counter affidavit is in response to a motion filed by the former minister, that's Diezani, is filing a motion against the EFCC, seeking an amendment to the heading of the charges filed against the businessman Olajide Omokore, list of defendants, so that she could defend herself in respect of allegations against her in one of the 9 counts. A detective with the commission's counter affidavit adds that it is not yet possible to bring the former minister back to be investigated by the UK's Metropolitan Police for reached an advanced stage. The EFCC has preferred 9 counts of criminal diversion of about 1.6 of proceeds of sales of petroleum products belonging to the federal government against among defendants. Okay, that's the much we can take today. I hope we were able to at least I know the internet messed up this morning again, but sorry, we'll try to resolve it, or we're always trying to improve and resolve this. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Oluwa Mayomikun. Enjoy the rest of your day, and let's do this again tomorrow. Do well to check this timeline in the course of the day for news and current affairs. Thank you so much for your time.